Hello, welcome everybody. Namaste. Sara here for some Facebook Live yoga. Finally back at it. A couple weeks ago we moved here to beautiful Oregon. This is my porch. I wish I could show you our beautiful view over here. It's a huge pond with a huge tree that looks like a Christmas tree, but the sun was too bright, so it was a little washed out behind me, so I moved it to this angle. Anyway, a couple weeks ago we moved to Oregon, and then of course we've been shacked up. Just got a little cold. The weather here is up and down a lot. So I'm going to try to get to it so I can warm up. But I was going to say that I am experiencing some allergies, and I haven't taught in a month because we were moving, and then, we've just been kind of settling in and getting to the flow of things due to quarantine. So if I run out of breath, I apologize. I'm gonna try to do my best. But anyway, this practice is going to be based around breath because, especially in times like this, and if you're feeling a lot of anxiety, the breath, it has a direct effect on our nervous system. So when we're feeling anxious, fight or flight kicks in. So your body, either your breath starts to get frantic or your breath starts to constrict, right? Because it's getting ready to run or to freeze. So it's super, super, super vital to consciously slow down your breathing and deepen it. And you'll start to feel the effects, hopefully, of your body calming down, and then your mind will follow. That's the hope anyway. So this practice is going to be mainly focused on breath. We're also going to invite a lot of movement within the joints in the body. If you've been binge watching Tiger King like I have, I hope that you're going to get up and do this practice and get a little movement in your body. But excuse me. For our intention for class today, I really, really, really want you to focus on deep inhales, slow exhales, okay? Don't worry about what you look like. Don't worry about the movement or if you're doing it correctly. Try to really focus on my cueing and my words and just do what you think I'm saying. If it feels really uncomfortable and you need to look up, of course do so. Be safe in practice, but we're not going to be doing anything too crazy. You don't really need to look. So try to just focus on my cueing and stay with your breath. Try to slow it down and ease some of that anxiety that you've been feeling, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start in child's pose. So knees wide for this one. Even if you do child's pose usually with your knees together, we're going to do it with our knees wide because we want to allow space for the belly, okay? So knees wide, hips are sitting on the heels, and we're just going to start to walk the hands out to the top of the mat, okay? Forehead goes to the mat, and just start to settle in here. The fingertips are reaching up towards the top of the mat, but the shoulders are away from the ears, so we don't want the shoulders to be crowding the neck. Roll the shoulders down and back, but we're still reaching the fingertips so the elbows are lifted off the mat. Forehead is relaxing on the floor. You can even start to rock it side to side. And for the next few moments, we're just going to start to arrive here. Arrive on your mat. Start to let go of the day. And start to focus on that breath. This is how we're going to really try to let go of all of the stress and anxiety that we may or may not be feeling due to coronavirus, the pandemic that's happening. So really allow your belly to fall on every inhale. Don't worry about your belly getting big, okay? Don't worry about what it looks like. Just deep inhales, slow down that exhale. You might even feel the back of the rib cage expanding with air. You can add movement here if you like, rocking the forehead side to side, wiggling through the hips. Allow that belly to fall in every inhale. And set your intention to just be present. Stay with your breath. on your next inhale, go ahead and rise to all fours. So we're bringing the knees directly underneath the hips, wrists directly under the shoulders. Roll the shoulders down and back. So we're rolling them away from the ears. And we're just going to do some simple cat-cows. So as we inhale, allow the belly to drop. Crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. See how my shoulders are away from my ears. On your exhale, press into the hands, round through the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. Flowing with your own pace, your own breath, inhaling as the belly drops. Exhale as the spine rounds, tuck that chin, find space between each vertebrae, press. Inhale, belly drops. Exhale, press, tuck. One more time, just like that. Inhaling as the belly drops. Exhale as we press into those hands. Tuck the chin to chest, round through the spine. Nice. You can stick with these cat-cows here, or I'm going to allow, go ahead and allow your body to do what it wants. So you can stay with the cat-cows, or maybe you want to create some big circles with the spine. Still inhaling as the belly drops. Exhale as it rounds, circles. Whatever feels best for you. You can even just look side to side. Maybe you want to do some big circles with the entire body. Since you're not focusing on what I'm doing, go ahead and just listen to your body, however it wants to move, whatever it wants to do right now. If you're going one direction, go the opposite. Still focusing on breath, focusing on undulating through the spine, warming up the body, and arriving here on your mat, letting go of everything else but the present moment. Finishing up your last round, coming to neutral whenever you get there. Go ahead and tuck the toes and lift the hips into the sky, downward facing dog. If downward dog feels awkward to you, go ahead and come out to a high plank and adjust the feet and hands wherever it feels comfortable. Wrist directly underneath the shoulders. And then press the hips to the sky. Heels reach towards the floor. They might not be anywhere near the floor. That's okay. Go ahead and inhale the heels up towards the sky. And exhale, lower them to the floor. A couple more times like that. Inhaling up. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Whenever you want to invite a sigh or some noise, really helps ease anxiety as well. Just letting it all go, letting it out. Inhale up. Exhale, reach those heels towards the floor. Nice. From here, start to walk the hands to the feet and hang out here in a forward fold. So you can add a little bend in the knees. Allow the belly to kind of fall onto the thighs. Let the head and neck hang. Grab onto opposite elbows and just hang here. Find a little rock side to side. We're still just warming up the body here. Don't worry if you can't reach the floor. Let it all go. Sigh it out. Release the elbows. Keep a slight bend in the knees and then start to round out. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Letting the head and neck hang. Allowing it to come up last. Roll the shoulders down and back. Hands come to heart center. Tadasana, mountain pose. We're pressing through all four corners of the feet. Activating through the legs. Pressing the hands together. Pelvis is tucked. The entire body is active here. Just take a moment to breathe. Just take a moment of stillness. I'm going to do one half sun salutation and then we'll move on with our flow. Inhale, reach the fingertips all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. So hands come to the shins, roll those shoulders down and back. Back is flat. Exhale, forward fold. Staying with your own breath, start to walk it out. Pressing those hips into the sky, downward facing dog. You can walk it out, bending one knee at a time. Last little moment of stillness here. We're going to invite some movement. Whenever you need a rest, you can drop the knees, bring them wide, untuck the toes, sit the hips back on the heels, child's pose. Take any rests your body needs. If you came down, come right back up, downward facing dog. Let's get to flowing. So inhale, right toes reach up towards the sky. We're going to stack the hips open, bend that knee. Try to keep the weight even along the hands, and then just invite some movement here. So you can do big circles with that leg. Opposite direction with that circle. Nice. Square the hips back off. Reach those toes into the sky. Exhale the toes to the floor. Nice. Opposite side. Inhaling, left toes reach up. Stack the hips on top of each other. So we're opening up the hips to the side of the room. Keep the weight even along the hands so we're not dumping into that right side. Bend that knee. And start to add a little movement. Whatever that may look like for you, don't worry about what you look like. Just let the body do what it wants, move how it wants. Square the hips back off. Inhale, reach the toes up to the sky. Exhale, release to the floor. Nice. On your next exhale, slight bend in the knees, look towards the hands, and start to walk the feet between the hands, forward fold. Releasing here. On your next inhale, halfway lift, find your flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, reach the fingertips all the way up to the sky. You can invite a slight back bend here if you like. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Tadasana, engaging every muscle of the body. Taking a moment here for breath. And we'll flow through our first full sun salutation of the practice. Inhale, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet to the back of the mat. Coming into high plank, stay with your breath. On your next inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. That was your first sun salutation. Take a couple breaths here in downward facing dog. We're going to do that again. On your next exhale, slight bend in the knees. Look towards the top of the mat. You can walk your feet to your hands, or you can do a little hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach those fingertips all the way up to the sky. Slight back bend optional. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. One more time, just like that. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, lead with your chest. So try to keep the back flat as you fold forward. Then release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step the feet to the back of the mat. You can always drop knees, chest, chin, or come down halfway. Slide out to low cobra, or press into the hands, press into the feet, upward facing dog. On your exhale, hips reach towards the sky, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Letting it all go. Sigh it out if you like. On your next exhale, bend into the knees slightly. Look towards the top of the mat. Step or hop your feet between your hands. Inhale, forward or halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the fingertips all the way up to the sky. Exhale, draw it into heart center. Couple breaths here. Remember that tuck of the pelvis. Remember, active through the legs, active through the hands, pressing together. Sturdy as a mountain. Adding on to our sun salutations, moving on to sun V's. Inhale, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Shoulders roll down and back. Exhale, sit it into your chair pose. So for chair pose, in case you don't know, feet are either hip distance apart or together. See which one works for you. Hip width apart works best for me. We don't have a sway in the low back, so we tuck the pelvis under, draw the navel in and up, sitting it down like we're sitting in a chair. We want to be able to see our toes, so make sure your knees aren't here, okay? Sit it back. Deep inhale here. On your exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. You can step or hop it back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Couple breaths here. Still focusing on those deep inhales and exhales. Deep inhales, slow exhales rather. Try to make your exhale as slow as your inhale, the entire length. On your next inhale, reach those right toes up towards the sky. Exhale, bring the knee to the chest. Lift here and then plant the foot between the hands. If it doesn't quite make it, just pick it up and put it there. It's fine. Going to drop the back heel so that the foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Windmill the hands up to warrior two. For warrior two, really sink deep into those hips. 90-degree angle with the knee. Make sure the knee is not caving in. So the inner thigh comes in and up. Okay, we're not collapsing here. So we're reaching out towards the corner of the mat. Shoulders are down and back. Reaching the hands out to the side. Gaze goes over the right fingertips. Breathing here. We're going to add a little dancing warrior. So this really focuses on breath. Inhale, reach. Flip the top palm up. Reach forward. Exhale like you're throwing a ball behind you. Reverse warrior. Inhale back out to warrior two. Exhale, right elbow, right knee. Left hand comes right above the head. Okay, so straight line from the heel all the way to the fingertips. Now we're going to go one breath, one movement. So inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two at your own pace. Exhale, side angle pose. One more time. Inhale, warrior two. My thigh is burning too. Exhale, reverse warrior. If you need to give it a rest, go ahead. Come right back into it. Warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands to the floor. Right leg comes back to meet the left. Flow through your vinyasa. Lowering on the exhale. Inhale, warrior two. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Walk it out. Let that leg breathe. And we'll do all that on the other side. Inhaling left toes into the sky. Exhale the knee to the chest. Lift here first. Then you should have room to plant your hand between, or your foot between the hands. Drop the back heel down. Windmill the hands up to warrior two. Quick check of the alignment. 90-degree knees. Your shoulders are directly above the hips, so we're not reaching forward. We're not back here. We're center. Shoulders down and back. Arms parallel to the floor. Gaze is over the left fingertips, and we'll dance in our warrior. So inhale as you reach. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose at your own pace. Inhaling, warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands to the floor. Plant them. The left leg comes back to meet the right. Lower on your exhale. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Walk it out. Let it all go. Go ahead and drop the knees. Bring them wide. Untuck the toes. Sit the hips back on the heels. Child's pose. Just taking a moment here. That was a little bit of an intense sequence there. We were hanging out on that thigh. Getting those legs nice and warm before we move on to some stretching. So good job sticking with it. Just taking this moment for breath to give yourself a little break. And we'll continue on, inhaling back up to all fours. Tuck the toes, exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, bend into the knees, look towards the top of the mat. Exhale, hop the feet between the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Find your flat back. Really roll those shoulders down and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, bring it to heart center. I'm going to flow through one more standing sequence. We're going to get these legs nice and stretched out. Inhale, reach the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sit it back into your chair pose. Remember, sit it back, okay? We don't want to just sit down with our knees reaching past our toes. So sit the hips back. Shoulders roll down and back. Make sure your navel is drawing to the spine. So we don't want to splay the rib cage open. We want to knit the ribs together. Nice straight back. You see that? Deep inhale here. On your exhale, go ahead and fold forward. Nice. Let it go. We're actually going to take this time for a little shoulder stretch. So bend the knees so much that you can wrap your arms around behind, grab onto your wrists or your elbows, and then slowly start to straighten the legs. You should feel a nice deep stretch in the shoulder blades. Breathing might be a little constricted here. That's okay. Do your best. Bend the knees. Release those arms. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step or hop the feet back to high plank. Lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Breathing it out. Usually in a yoga class, a lot of people are really afraid to do a lion's breath. But since you're at home, and I know you're at home, we're going to go ahead and give it a try, okay? So lion's breath is very cleansing. If you're feeling a lot of built up tension, a lion's breath is just lets it all out. So it's a little weird at first, but once you do it, you'll feel what I'm talking about. So we're in downward facing dog. We're going to take a deep inhale. On your exhale, stick the tongue out. Look towards your forehead. So, and really sigh it out. Let it all out. One more time. One more time. Nice. Bring the breathing back to regular. And let's get these muscles stretched out. Inhale, reach the right toes up towards the sky. This time we're going to exhale them on the outside of the right hand. So we're coming into a low lunge here, okay? We're going to hang out up here, so roll those shoulders down and back. Just start to add a little movement here. Little rock back and forth. You can do circles with the hips. Breathing deep. What we're doing here is really loosening up the hip flexors in the right hamstring for a little stretch sequence, little splits sequence. It's a great exercise. This alone is great to do, especially if you sit a lot. Nice. Go ahead and drop the back knee down, untuck the toes, okay? If this is enough of a stretch for you, you can stay here. We're just pressing the hips towards the floor. If this is too much for you, you can always have your hands up on something to give yourself a little extra space. If this isn't enough for you, you can come on down to the elbows. You can rock side to side. I like movement in my practice, but if you like to just stay static and settle in, do what your body is asking for, okay? Don't do what I'm doing. If there's somebody next to you, don't do what they're doing. Just do what your body wants. If you want to take the steeper, you can tuck the back toes and lift the knee off the mat. This just adds a little strength and stretch into the left hip flexor, as well as that right hamstring and hip stretch. Nice. If you came up, drop that knee, untuck the toes. We're going to come back up onto the hands if you came down, and heel toe the foot to center. Okay, so we're bringing it right back between the hands, and then go ahead and straighten that leg. This can be a lot, so if you need some blocks on the sides of you, you can bring blocks on either side of that leg. We're going to roll the shoulders down and back. Try to keep a flat back and then just fold over that leg. And don't worry too much about your form. I'm usually all about form, but today we're just going to breathe. You can point and flex the toes. You can do ankle rolls here, or you can just simply stretch. Doesn't matter where you are. So you could be way up here and you can feel that hamstring stretch. You're getting the same effects. So just breathe into it. Consciously tell those muscles to relax through breath. Go ahead and come up halfway. We're going to bend back into that knee, but this time we're going to bring the hands onto the knee. So we're pressing the hips forward. This sequence helps us get into the front leg's hamstring, the back leg's hip flexor. Both of those are needed for some splits. And either way, we need them we just need to get these muscles loosened up. If you want to add on ribs knit together, reach those fingertips to the sky, slight back bend. If you don't want to add that, hang out here. Totally up to you. Whether you're looking for a challenge today or just to relax and get into your body. We're going to plant the hands. We're going to straighten that leg one more time. So bring your hands up onto your blocks or whatever you have at home handy to help you get into the stretch. If you don't have anything, I should have mentioned this the first time, you can sit all the way back on the heel. So this leg is straight. You can start to fold forward that way. If the other version is too intense and you don't have blocks handy. So wherever you're at, just fold over that leg, let it all go. I see so many squirrels right now. I wish you guys could see my view. I'll show you later. Folds. And then one more time. Come back up, bending into that knee. Bring the hands up onto the knee. Press the hips forward. Nice. We're not going to go into splits today, but if you wanted to incorporate this into that little sequence, you can just start to slide that foot forward and come into your splits. But today we're not going to worry about that. So plant the hands, tuck the back toes, and send that right leg back to downward facing dog. Walk it out. We have our entire other side to do. Let's go ahead and even it out. Inhale, left toes into the sky. Exhale, bring that foot on the outside of the left hand. Press the hips towards the floor. And just start to add a little movement here. Whatever that movement looks like for you, you can pop back and forth, forward and back, circles with those hips, bounces, so many options, whichever one feels best. From here, drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. We're pressing those hips towards the floor. Shoulders are rolled down and back. You can hang out here, or if you want a little extra juice, go ahead and bring those elbows to the floor. Letting it all go. A lot of times our muscle tension has to do with our breath as well, and has to do with our mind and how far we think we can go. So we do what's called yogi breath. Inhale, focus on form, and as you exhale, just let it all go. Try to feel your muscles relaxing. Consciously tell them it's okay to let go here. There's no need for any tension. We're safe. As long as you feel safe, send that signal to your brain. You'll notice your muscles start to melt a little bit. If you wanted that strength added on, you can tuck the toes, lift that back knee. Now we're adding a little strength to our stretch. If you came up, drop that back knee down, untuck the toes. Come back up onto the hands, heel toe the foot to center, and go ahead and straighten that leg. So remember your two options here. You can hang out here, folding forward if you have blocks, or if that's too much, you can sit it all the way back on the heel. That leg is straight. Try to find your flat back and fold. Wherever you're at, you can point and flex that foot if you like, or you can simply settle in. On your next inhale, start to walk it up, bend into that knee, bring the hands up onto your left knee, press those hips forward. So we're getting into the right quadricep and hip flexor here. Letting it go, letting those hips melt towards the floor. If you want to add the back bend, remember, knit the rib cage together. Arms, fingertips reach up towards the sky, slight back bend, gaze goes up. Deep inhale here. On your exhale, plant the hands. We're going to come back into one more stretch. So straighten that leg out. Keep your flat back as much as possible and start to fold forward. Invite movement. Sit all the way back on your heel if this is too much. Always listening to your body, doing what's best for it. Not worrying about what I'm doing, not worrying about what anyone else in the room is doing. Allowing your body to do what it wants to do. Except go lay on the couch. Do this. And start to bend back into that knee. Plant the hands, tuck the back toes, and send that foot back to downward facing dog. Walk it out, bending one knee at a time. Should feel pretty even here now. And let's get into the outside of those legs, then we'll make our way to the floor. Inhale, reach the right toes up towards the sky. This time we're going to exhale, bring the right knee to the right wrist. Coming into pigeon pose. So drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. I like to rock back and forth here. Just kind of telling my hips, this is what we're going to do now. We're going to come into pigeon pose. From here, roll the shoulders down and back. Hands come out to the side. Inhale, reach the crown of the head up towards the sky. And then exhale, come on down to the elbows. Or maybe you can flatten all the way down. The forehead comes to your hands or the mat. This is a beautiful time to check in with your body. We're very internal in this pose, so go ahead and really become internal. Ask your body how it feels right now. Just take notice where your mind is at, with no judgment or change, just awareness. A lot of times in practice, we can have pretty intense emotions come up. You can have judgments of the teacher, or sometimes if the practice is hard, maybe hatred towards the teacher. It's all normal, it's all natural. Just notice what feelings and thoughts come up during your yoga practice. This is a perfect pose to do that in. Maybe nothing's coming up, maybe you feel great. That's good too. Take note of it. Last moment here. And on your next inhale, come back up onto your hands if you came down. We're going to keep the right hand planted. We're going to reach the left arm forward, up and back, and try to grab onto the left toes. May or may not be able to reach them. If you don't, just hang out here. If you can reach your toes, just try to pull them in. Deep, deep quadriceps stretch on this side. If you do want to challenge, you can bring your toes into that elbow pit. The hand comes up. You can start to reach your right hand behind. Ooh, my body said not today. And that is okay. We'll try again tomorrow. Go ahead and release those toes. Tuck them. Plant the hands. Send that right foot back to meet the left. Downward facing dog. Walk it out. We have one more side, and then we're going to make our way to the floor. So inhale, left toes into the sky. Exhale, we're going to bring the left knee next to the left wrist. Plant that leg down. Drop the back knee down. Untuck the toes. From here, staying up high first, you can rock the hips back and forth, kind of just loosening up. And then inhale, reach the crown of the head to the sky. As you exhale, come on down to the elbows, or maybe flatten all the way out. Forehead comes to your hands or the mat. Let it all go. Taking another moment to check in with your body. Noticing how the body feels, how the mind feels, where your emotions are at. No judgment, no change, just awareness. Inviting those sighs, maybe even another lion's breath. Giving yourself permission to make sounds. It's not weird. It's another way of letting go of tension and emotions that build up. If you've ever been in your car and got really mad and screamed because of traffic or anything like that, it's the same concept. And start to come up to the hands. Keep that left hand planted. Right arm's going to reach forward, up, and back. Grab onto the back toes if you can. Wherever you're at. Go ahead and pull them in. If you want to try that challenge, you can bring the toes to the armpit. Or sorry, not the armpit. The elbow crease. And then the left arm can reach up, and maybe you can grab onto your hands. This side said not today too. Slowly release the toes. Plant the hands. And left leg comes back to downward facing dog. Nice. Walk it out. Let that leg breathe. And go ahead and drop the knees. Sit the hips back on the heels, child's pose. Taking a moment. Letting that belly fall between the knees on every inhale. Not being afraid to let your belly expand. Feeling the expansion in the back of the rib cage as well. And start to walk the hands up to a seated position. Let's go ahead and do a little toe stretch. So go ahead and tuck your toes. Make sure that pinky toe is tucked as well, and we'll go ahead and sit it up. Just hang out here. This stretch can be intense for some people. So if it is, I'm going to distract you with an arm stretch. So reach the arms out. We're going to bring one arm underneath the other. And bring the tops of the hands together, or you can fully wrap if you can. Lift the elbows, fingertips reach towards me. So it's one arm under the other, lift, and away. So you should be able to feel that in your shoulder blades. Go ahead and release the arms, and opposite arm comes underneath, tops of the hands together, or full wrap, lift, and away. Nice. Go ahead and release the arms. Release the toes. Give a little pat on the floor. And roll through the ankles here. And then we'll just go ahead and reach the legs out in front of us. Find your sit bones on the mat. So it might mean you need to move some flesh out of the way. Shoulders roll down and back. Flex the toes. Inhale, reach the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, reach for your feet. You might not reach the feet, that's okay. Wherever you're at, wherever your hands land is a perfect stretch for you, okay? You can add movement here. You can simply let go. Wherever you're at. And start to walk it back up. We are going to do each side individually. So bring the right knee into the chest, let it open up to the side. So bring the foot to the thigh. Once again, inhale, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, fold forward over your left leg. Inhale, start to walk it up, and we'll switch sides. So right knee comes up, lengthen. The left knee comes into the chest, let it open up to the side, press that foot into the thigh. Inhale, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge forward. Janu Sirsasana, head to knee pose. Your head might not be anywhere near your knee, that's okay. Just enjoy the process, enjoy the stretch without judgment on yourself. And inhale, start to walk it up. And then we'll just bring the right foot next to the left. So coming into cobbler pose, grab onto your ankles and allow the knees to fall away from each other. If this is super intense for you, you can also sit your back up against a wall, and that allows you to press your knees away. Or just have a little ease of your back if this is too much. If not, roll the shoulders down and back, cradle the feet, and start to hinge forward. Using those elbows to keep the knees away from each other. You can kind of do half circles to get there, if you like, or just settle in. Inhale to rise. Bring the feet back out in front of you. Give the knees a little shake. We're going to come into a spinal twist. So a few options here. Right knee comes up. You can stay here. If you want, you can bring it on the opposite side of your leg. And if you want even more, you can bend the left leg. Okay? So wherever you're at, try to get both sit bones on the mat. We're going to reach the right arm up. Twist, so the left hand comes back behind your sacrum. I'm sorry, wrong side. We're going that way. Right arm comes back behind your sacrum. Left arm reaches up. Twist, and then you can bring that elbow to the knee and use it as leverage to twist to the right. Using your breath here, inhale, find length in the spine. Crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. As we exhale, look over your right shoulder, twisting even deeper. I don't know if that's a frog or a bird, but I really hope you can hear it. It's so cute. As you exhale, slowly release. Just going to do a little counter twist the opposite way. And then go ahead and switch the legs. So again, options. Right leg is reaching out, left knee into the chest. You can bring it on the opposite side of that knee, or of the right leg, or bend into the right leg. Either way, get both of those sit bones on the floor. Left arm reaches behind you, right arm reaches up. Exhale, twist. And then you can go ahead and use that leg to twist further. You don't need to go all the way around to start. Inhale, reach the crown of the head up towards the sky. As you exhale, see if you can twist a little bit deeper. Do that every time, and then you'll find your max. Nice. Slowly release. Do a quick counter twist. Nice. And go ahead and release the legs. So I'm going to come into a boat pose to make our way to the floor. We're almost finished here. Stay for Shavasana, please. A lot of people like to leave before Shavasana, and Shavasana is really the pose that we do yoga for. So hang out to the end. We're going to bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor, hands come to the backs of the knees. Find your balance. We're going to lift the legs into a tabletop position. This is boat pose. So we're working the core. Last little workout here before we make our way to the floor. So you can hang out here if you want a little extra. Hands start to come out. If you want even more, you can start to straighten the legs. Whichever version works for you. You can lower and come up if you want a little extra workout. And on the last one, we're going to lower, 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 slow as possible until we make our way to the floor. Nice. Releasing all of that. Bend into the knees, bring the tops of the feet to the, bring the feet to the floor. And to start, we're going to bring the feet wide and just let the knees windshield wiper side to side. Nice. Start to heel toe those feet back to hip width distance apart. I'm going to take the right ankle, place it on the left knee, and then we're going to grab onto the left thigh. So lift that foot off the floor, grab onto the thigh, and just pull it in. You can rock side to side here. You can simply just keep reaching, trying to bring that knee closer to the torso. You can add a little ankle roll with the left foot if you like. Maybe even bend and straighten the left leg. It's up to you. Or you can simply stay static here. Nice. Go ahead and release that leg. Bring the left foot back to the floor. We're going to cross the right leg all the way over. Walk your shoulders away from the ears. Then we're going to allow the knees to fall over to the left side. Right arm comes out to a T. Gaze goes over the right shoulder. Little spinal twist here. Gentle spinal twist. See if you can relax all of your muscles here. Last deep breath here. Deep, slow inhale. Open the mouth. Let it go. And bring the knees back up to center. Uncross the legs. Bring the knees into the chest. Just give your belly a couple pumps first before we move to the other side. Feet come back to hip width distance apart, back to the floor. Left ankle on the right knee. Grab onto the right thigh. Lift that foot off the floor. Reclined pigeon. Hanging out here. Inviting any movement you like, including rocking side to side, ankle rolls with the right foot, not the left. Keep the left flexed. Bending and straightening the left leg. Go ahead and release that foot back to the floor. Cross the left leg all the way over. The left arm comes out to a T. Allow the knees to fall over to the right side. Gaze goes over the left shoulder. Last breath here. Knees come back up to center. Release the cross of the legs. We're going to bring the knees into the chest one more time. Give them a couple pumps. And then coming into my favorite pose, happy baby. Go ahead and start to reach for either your big toe or the outsides of your feet. So bringing your knees next to the sides of your body. Like a little baby rolling around in its crib. You can start to rock side to side here. Try to get your sacrum on the floor. So I see this a lot. Try to release your sacrum to the floor. If that means you need to grab onto your big toes instead, or even if that's too much, you can grab onto the backs of your thighs. We're just hanging out here. Don't worry about what it looks like. You can start to straighten one leg at a time, or even straighten both legs. Just gonna do what feels good here. Try to think of the barking dogs as a way to become present, not a distraction. Nice. Go ahead and release the feet back to the floor. Last little workout, last pose before We come into Shavasana. So walk the shoulders away from the ears. Feet are hip width distance apart. Hands come out to next to your hips. And then lift the hips into the sky. Bridge pose. You can grab onto your hands underneath your hips if you like. It just adds a little, gives you a little leverage to press the hips higher. See if you can release the glutes here. If you want a little extra, you can even bring the hands underneath the hips. And coming out of this whenever you're ready, slowly rolling down. Hips come back to the floor. Bring the feet wide, let the knees knock together. It just releases the low back, maybe even windshield wiper side to side. I lied, we're going to invert, so last pose. Start to walk the feet back to the center. First option, we just bring the feet straight up in the sky. You can point and flex your feet here, do ankle rolls. If you want to come into a shoulder stand, what we're going to do is press the elbows next to our body, press them into the floor, lift the hips into the hands, and start to bring the toes towards the sky. Again here, you can point and flex the feet. You could do different variations with the legs. Whatever feels good. And whenever you're ready, release the hands and try to roll down one vertebrae at a time. Extending the legs along your mat. Making your way to Shavasana. So just allowing the legs to fall open as they naturally do. Arms come out to the side, palms facing up. Take up as much room as you like. Take a couple breaths, couple sighs to just settle in here. Closing the eyes. And just taking the next few moments to just be. We've exhausted the body. Now it's time to relax the mind and the body. Shavasana, I always call it the pose that we do yoga for because it's the few minutes a day where we actually let the mind fully relax. So thoughts may start to come in. As they do, just simply let them go. Start to take control of your mind by taking control of your thoughts, letting them know, I'll get back to you later. Move along, move along. Try to come back to center, come back to your breath. And see if you can start to relax every muscle of your body. You can scan your body starting from the feet, working up the legs, up the belly, the chest, the back, the arms, the head, and just as you move through each section, just see if you can allow the muscles to melt into your mat. See if you can fully let go. We'll be here for a couple moments. I'll call you back when it's time. Happy Shavasana. Starting to bring your awareness back into your body. Start to wiggle your fingertips and your toes. Start to rock the head side to side. And go ahead and reach your fingertips all the way above the head, stretching from the fingers to the toes. Nice long good morning stretch. Exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around your knees. Start to rock side to side, massaging the low back. And whenever you're ready, rolling over to your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. Pressing up to seated. Bringing the hands to heart center and just taking a moment. Maybe even closing the eyes, just taking a moment to thank yourself for your practice. Taking this time out of your day to take care of your mind and your body is super, super important. And if you did that, take a moment to thank yourself, because it is hard. It's hard to have the discipline to do practices like this. But they're very necessary, especially in times like this when the anxiety is high, stress is high. Collectively, even if you're not specifically feeling it, we probably can feel it from the people around us. Even if you're not around people, we can collectively feel the energy of everybody. We are a product of our environment, and other people are part of our environment, so we start to feel that. So taking this time is so important and so necessary, and thank yourself for doing it. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide. It's my pleasure. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like, share it. If you know somebody that is struggling, please send it to them so that they can get into their body, get out of their mind for a little while when we're constantly being bombarded by negativity on Facebook and the news. Just taking a few moments out of the day to, even if it's 5 minutes, to turn that stuff off. Get out of your head, get into your body, get a little movement. Please sit here and breathe. Feel those deep breaths. Don't be afraid to let your belly expand, okay? And thank you guys so much. I hope you're staying safe. The sun kind of went away, so I'm going to try to show you my view from my porch here in Oregon. You can see it now. Kind of, but yeah, we have a pond out there, so it's so nice to sit out here on our patio, our porch, and just beautiful being out here in nature. Try to get out in nature if you can too. Thank you guys so much. Let me know if there's anything that you need. Feel free to reach out if you're struggling. This is not a time to isolate, even though we have to separate ourselves physically. It's not a time to separate ourselves emotionally. So reach out to people if you don't feel you have anybody to reach out to. I'm always here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Namaste.